Hey everybody, I'm Francesca Maxime. This is Wise Girl, September 12th, 2017. And I just hope everybody had a great summer and the weather's really starting to cool off a little bit here in New York. It's nice. Recently I sort of had a mental paradigm shift, and I think that it might help you, so I wanted to share it. And that is that it's going to sound a little weird probably, that we aren't just ourselves. We aren't just this body. We aren't just this hair and this skin color, or this journalist, or this mother, or this daughter, or this child, or whatever it is. That in fact we hold ourselves on two planes, that there's two levels of existence for us. One is that we get up in the morning, we have a cup of coffee, we go to work, we go to school, we take care of our kids, we eat, we defecate, we play with our cats, we go to a concert, we do these kinds of things that are sort of in and of the world. We get on the subway for New York, whatever. That's our sort of day-to-day existence. We play tennis, we hurt our back, we recuperate, whatever. The other plane of existence, so that's sort of like, holding one side of it. The other plane of existence is that we are much greater than all of that, that there's this other part of us that's deep within us that really only kind of reveals itself once we get quiet enough to listen to it, pay attention to it, attune to it. You can use different language for this. But that deeper part of us is actually our true self, our true nature. And I like to call it inner goodness, as it's been called by some others. I like to call it true nature, like I just mentioned, meaning that we aren't just our personality traits and our conditioning. We are actually something much deeper than that. And what is that really? A lot of people say our true nature, our inner goodness, is actually love or compassion or connection or a desire to help. And the problem is that our personality self, our conditioned self, the one that, wants the new designer handbag and that, gets upset when our, son or daughter at school is invited to somebody else's birthday party and they have gold engraved invitations for sixth graders or something. And, we're sitting here sort of like still baking a cake from scratch at home. That idea of envy, jealousy, comparison, all of that is a sense of conditioning, personality deficit that our culture entirely reinforces, that 100% is given full authority to run wild, and that we can somehow, through our meritocracy, our efforts, our rugged individualism, our own sense of determination, that we can overcome this, and that we need to do it. We need to do it by ourselves. We need to do it individually. We, all should have perfect, balanced nuclear families, all this kind of stuff. Well, guess what? It's impossible. We require, because we come out of interconnection, we each have come from our mother's womb. We each have done that, right? Whether your mother is your biological mother, your adopted mother, your other mother, if you had another caretaker, or other father for that matter. But in a very real sense, we all came out of someone's womb, and we could even extend that to be, the womb of Mother Earth, or the womb of creation, or the universe, or whatever. That's kind of getting on a transcendental plane, but that's kind of where I'm going with this, which is to say that if all you think you are is this bag of bones that wakes up in the morning, goes and brushes your teeth, gets on the subway and slugs to work, has a cup of coffee and tries to keep your eyes open with, toothpicks like they used to do in the cartoons when I was growing up, you're not going to make it. You're not going to be able to make all of the suffering in the world. You're not going to be able to handle all of the stuff that's happening out there. You're not going to be able to hold the fact that these things are going on and I'm overwhelmed, or that meaning that I want to help, but it's just too overwhelming to me. Or that, you know what, that has nothing to do with me. I have my own problems. I got to deal with my own family, and push it away and, sort of be indifferent or even spiteful. Like, why do I have to be continually reminded of this? Or in fact, a certain numbing out of indifference, which is more along the lines of like, I don't see how that's relevant. I can only deal with what's sort of in front of me, and I'm doing my part because I go to the gym every day. So, I can't deal with the fact that other people aren't keeping themselves well. In the grand scheme of things, we're born into connection and relationship. We oftentimes, through maladaptive conditioning, which is based on our physiology, our neurobiology, our brains, the way they work, our amygdala, our different, sort of structures, we often learn maladaptive conditioned habits and patterning that then reifies a sense of a separate identification, a separate sense of self. So, for example, like I said, I think that I'm just this body. It's just this bag of bones that's sort of going to work or going to school and coming home and, having a birthday party or whatever. When in fact, I'm presented in a larger context, interconnected to everyone and everything else. So when things happen over here that don't seem like they're directly a reflection of what's happening to me, it's pretty obvious that in fact they are. And that works both ways. That, I'm not only connected to those things and they're connected to me, but that I also receive the effects of good things that happen in the world that I had nothing to do with, right? So we don't often pay a lot of attention to those, even though they happen all the time. I had nothing to do with the sun coming up today, but I'm really glad that it's a gorgeous day out. And so maybe my appreciation of that good energy, of that sun coming up and of having another beautiful day where I'm relatively healthy and things are generally okay and whatever, all of that adds to the pile of good energy, if you will, that then can kind of spread out like ripples. If I'm waking up with this mental space of, all I am is this body, I don't know if I have enough in my retirement, I don't know if I'm ever going to figure life out, I don't know if I'm ever going to be happy and get what I want, whatever. If I do that and reify this separate sense of self, forget it, we're doomed. But if I open up to a larger context and have a bigger, sort of more spacious awareness of not only the fact that there is this sort of titanium inner part of me, if you will, that is shared with the whole energy of the universe, meaning that we're not separate from that, right? So there's this large part of that is me, and that I am a part of that it's connected. And it manifests in, violets and daisies that I see, and dolphins at the beach, and, friends that I meet for dinner or whatever. It manifests in very real ways. A beautiful piece of art, the Mona Lisa or whatever at the Louvre Museum, Beethoven, something, beautiful that really stirs our heart, an amazing sunset, a mountain view. That all those things are serving to kind of try to key us into the fact that there's something larger out there that we are a part of. That's why it resonates with us and it makes us feel good and we feel connected to it and to this larger sense. And that also it kind of girds us from the day-to-day overwhelm and suffering that we often feel. Or most importantly, I think it just totally negates and blows out of the water this idea of shame or of guilt or whatever, because who has time to be shameful, and why would you or how could you even be shameful if you're recognizing that there's nothing wrong with you, that your inner core is titanium, for example, but that we've learned maladaptive conditioning patterns that our culture reinforces, and that we're just working on chipping away at sort of those negative habit patterns. We're not actually working on ourself, because ourself is okay. Ourself is no better or worse than anyone else. It's no different from anyone else, and yet at the same time, we're each unique, right? So we're different and the same. We each have unique gifts. I may be good at writing. Someone else may be good at singing. Someone else may be good at building, right? So we each need to get into that flow state where we are able to see clearly enough to discover our gifts, to execute our gifts, and then share them with the world. So I guess I just wanted to sort of share this with you. It might be a little confusing. Maybe it sounds weird. I don't know. But basically, we live on two planes. We use the relative, this body, to manifest the universal energy, which is love, and which is giving, and which is doing, and which is clear seeing, and which is compassion. And yet, we get caught up in the small sense of self, the separate sense of self, which is fear-based. All that anxiety, all that fear. Do I have enough in my retirement account? Am I going to get a new job? Am I going to be able to find a new boyfriend or girlfriend? Am I going to be able to pull this off, whatever it is? Did I do better than the next person? None of that is relevant, although it's real. It's not true in the sense that the more you see yourself as connected to everything and everyone, those things just kind of fall away. So you're genuinely happy for others and their success. And when you share in that success and you ally yourself with that success, it becomes actually really easy to then receive more of that success for yourself, because you're opening your heart center, if you will, to the exchange of energy that we're a part of, and you're not cutting yourself off from it. So anyway, I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I'm trying to get back into it now that I have a little bit of a clearer perspective on things. Write me, tweet me, whatever you want to do, at Francesca Maxime. This is Wise Girl, 11 minutes. Okay, time to go. Bye.